Hi everyone, it's Anya here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and finally I have finished my Orla Keeley blanket. So as you can see, it's got lots of lovely colours, but more importantly, look at that border. I have made quite a special border for this blanket. As you can see, it's a double border. There's two sides to it, each in a different color. So I hope you are going to enjoy this tutorial. Yes, I have finally finished the blanket. Well, that is to say, the body of the blanket. So today I'm going to show you how I am going to do the border. Now, I started this blanket quite a few months ago. I was going to just use up my colors of my Orla Keeley palette, but of course I had to buy some more. And also I decided to use Storm Blue, Duck Egg and Parchment as sort of the all over, so the mainish colors. And these are the colors that I have left for doing the blanket. I have more of these, okay? So those are the colors that I'm going to do the border in. And I have, if you remember, not sewn in a single end, okay? So here they all are. I did this on purpose because normally I'm very good with sewing in my ends, and I do them sort of as and when. I do them almost like weekly, so you can see the progress. And that gives you motivation to keep going. But I wanted to do a experiment with this blanket. I just thought I would sit and sew them all in and then time how long it would take me. But I have changed my mind. I wouldn't mind doing this, okay? I wouldn't mind sitting there watching a film and just crocheting them, sewing them in. But I have seen something else. Recently, I have noticed that some people have done an enclosed border, and that is what we are going to do today on this blanket. So an enclosed border means that I don't have to sew in the ends. All I am going to have to do is leave them, and I'm going to do a border which will go round them, basically. Okay, so I thought, yeah, instead of sewing them all in, doing a normal border, I might as well do this and teach you a new technique. And I'm quite looking forward to doing this because I think it's going to finish the blanket quite nicely. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go round the whole of our blanket with a slip stitch. We need to anchor the front border and the back border, but we can't really do that in our normal crochet, so we are going to be putting on a row of slip stitches, and we are going to do that in a color that you haven't used yet. So I'm using cream, and I'm just going to go under my V here, anywhere you want to start. No, hang on a minute. I'm going to start closer to the corner so I can show you straight away how to do the corner, and then that's you set off for the whole blanket, okay? So there we go. So you bring through, hang on a minute, let me hold it properly. You bring through your loop, so you just go under the V and you just start doing your slip stitches. Yeah, of course it doesn't work on camera. There we go. Okay, just like that. And just make sure you do the three of the, of the three stitches that you have there. Now this is the easiest side, okay? You're going to have two long sides, which you have the side of the stitches, and then you have the bottom side as well. So I would just suggest you take your time to do this. Make sure you do not do this too tightly. Make sure you work nice and loosely so you don't bring the blanket in. Okay, so I've got another two to do because I know I do two stitches here. So here I'm just going to get into wherever I can get in. There we go. Okay, so I've now made it to the corner. I am now going to do 2 chains, and then you turn, and now you're going to have to work into to the lengths here of these double crochets on the side. So yeah, not an easy thing to do, but like I said, take your time and see where best to put your stitch, and also don't get entangled with all your ends that you have hanging out. Okay, I am looking for, I don't want to go into here, I'm looking for somewhere to go in here, sort of through the body of that last stitch. Okay, and yeah, I always consider that a double crochet is sort of 2 stitches, but 2 slip stitches, but it's not always the case. So don't do 2 in each, don't try and get 2 in here, because then you'll have too many stitches and that's when your border becomes wavy. So less is more in this case. Okay, so I just do 1 here, I do 1 here, oh no, that's not gone in, I'll do 1 there. You know, just, I'd rather do 1 than 2 basically, and then 1 here, and then I'll do a 2 somewhere soon, but not necessarily, you know. Now I'm doing this on camera, I'm not being very careful here, and as you can see already, it's, look, it's going up, so I'm going to need to redo this and redo it looser. Okay, so make sure you've got enough yarn coming loosely, and you can do this loosely, because once you've done this, you're going to have to pick up the backs and the fronts for your borders. So we're going to start with the back border, and you're going to have to pick up the loops on the back, so that's tightening them up. And then once you've done the back border, we're going to do the front border, and that means you are going to be picking up this bit of this slip stitch, and again, you know, it'll be tight from doing the back, so it'll be tight on the front as well. So make sure you do them loosely enough. So like I said, yeah, I'm going to have to undo this because it's curling up. Okay, so you're now going to go all the way around your blanket, and I will meet you here again. Okay, so I've done all the way around, and now I have my last stitch here, I've got my first stitch here, and I've just cut it off and I've put it on my needle, because that's what we do for a slip stitch like this. It's best to finish the last stitch with a needle. And then we go to the back. There we go, and you can't even tell where we started. Let's just pull it a little bit. There we go. Okay, right, so there we go. So it's no longer pulling up here, it's lying nice and flat everywhere. I'm just going to leave this bit of yarn because obviously we're going to have them in the border. So now it's time for us to start the first border, and that will be the back border. Okay, so I've turned my blanket over so the bump side of the slip stitch is facing me, so just the one strand of the slip stitch is facing me, the 2 strands are on the other side. Okay, and once again I'm going to get started here so I can show you the corner and then move on. Now I'm going to get started with a standing half double crochet. Now the thing is, when you do a border with a single crochet, the border just doesn't grow. When you do a border with a double crochet, the border tends or has a tendency to become wavy, especially if you have too many stitches. So my golden rule for myself personally, I find if I do my border in half double crochets, it works perfectly. So let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm ready here to start picking up yarn over, and you pick up your little loop there. As you can see, not easy. Okay, so we do a half double crochet, so pull through 3. Now my little trick is yarn over, twist your hook, go under from the other side like that, and then do your stitch. Okay, and there we go. Look, a lot easier No. It is a lot easier, but not when you're doing it in your viewfinder. Okay. See, coordination when you're actually watching yourself on video, but there we go. See, that is so much easier to do than picking them up the usual way. Make sure you don't split anything, and make sure you don't pick up anything else, basically. But look at how cute this looks. I think that looks so nice. And when you then go through this bit and you pull the stitches back, you won't be able to see, look, that they're sort of attached to those stitches. Okay, so now we're at this part here where we have a little chain space of 2, but you have to remember you're going to have to go through that one as well on the other side. So you can't just go into the chain space. You're going to have to pick up the loops. Yeah. So anywhere you can, take a good look. See, these are this is what I tend to do. I sort of look at the V's so I know that they are there. So anything that I can pick up at the back here is fine for me to pick up. So this one. Okay. And let's do 2 half double crochets in there. Then I do a chain, and then we have another chain that we did. So let's just try and pick up the back of that. I mean, just have a good look and pick up what you think is the one. There you go. As long as you're left with something to pick up later on as well. Okay, on the other side, I mean. Right, there we go. Okay, so, and we've turned the corner. And then when we come back, or when we are doing the other side, let's have a look if we've still got enough loops here to be able to pick something else up. And I think we have, because I've got this V here and this V there. And there's a loop here as well, which I could pick up as well. So I think I'm okay, right? Because otherwise, obviously, you're going to have to, you know, you won't be able to anchor those stitches. But I'm sure if not, that you can, you know, place them somewhere. Then we continue on our side here. Again, this is the difficult side. It's not going to be that easy, but I found it actually quite therapeutic just to try and pick up the right stitch. What am I doing? Have I yarned over twice or something? Oh, I've got a double. I was working with a doubled up thing there. Okay, right, so pick up the first one. There we go. And we're off. And yeah, okay, this line, this row is again going to take time. See, this is what's keeping on happening, so you need to make sure those ends are nicely tucked away out of your sort of working range. And once again, yeah, the cream and the parchment are not very contrasting, but it's working. See, it's going quicker already. Okay, so that is what you are going to do for the whole of your blanket. I will see you when you get here. So I have made it all around my blanket. I have done my last half double crochet into that last stitch there. I now have my standing half double crochet here. This top always sort of closes up for me, so I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to go under the next V, and that is where I am going to do my slip stitch to close my round. Now I am going to do 2 chains, and then I am going to start with just picking up both the legs of the V, and I am just going to do half double crochets going all the way round again. I'm going to do this several times, so I want to have quite a wide border, so I will see how long I can test my patience here. Uh, so I'm going to do half double crochets all around. Then when I get to the corner, I am going to place 2 half double crochets, 1 chain, and 2 half double crochets into that corner chain space. There we go, and that's a corner made. And then I simply start again, picking up the V's all along the sides. Okay, so I am going to be doing this for another couple of rounds. So when you get here, you slip stitch and so on. So that's the same. Now, just to show you now, because I want to have this as my bed project, so I'm going to put this sort of, with, in my bedroom, ready for whenever I want to have a go-to project. So the next step, once I've done this border, the next step would be to start the other border. So I'm going to then turn my blanket. Oh, it's so big. I've got something on my desk there. Right, that's a pen that's gone flying now. Okay, so once we've finished this border, we're going to have to do a border picking up these ones here. So we are going to, do the same thing again. So you are going to make a slip knot to start your standing half double crochet, yarn over. You're going to go under any V basically that you can get under. Well, you have to get under every one, and then you are going to do a half double crochet. There we go. Okay, and you're going to do that around every V all along your blanket. And as you can see, I'm turning my hook. That helps to get under there. And also in the corners again, hopefully you will have something where you can pick up to create your corners. So 2 half double crochets, a chain, and 2 half double crochets, and then you continue on. So this is the plan. And then obviously once you've done the whole one, you then have to, make the same length border. No, I've got too much here. Make the same length border. And then I will be back when those 2 borders have been finished and when I am going to crochet them together. So that is going to be my project for the next couple of days, I'm sure. It's a slow process, I think, but I think it's going to be worth it. Okay, I will see you when I have finished both the borders, and obviously that will be in a few moments for you, but in reality it will be a little bit longer. See, so this is what it's going to look like. So we'll have the 2 borders and then we'll be able to crochet them together. Exciting. And I'm loving the way this sort of border is attached to the blanket as well. It's completely sort of a different look. So yes, I am very, very pleased with this. I'm hoping that it's going to turn out all right, and I will see you in a few moments. Oh my goodness, look at this. I am absolutely in love with this border. Right, so I continued doing the parchment side of my border until I had 3 rows. Then I did a storm blue side, and then I decided it was time to properly start my duck egg border. So I did that one, picking up the 2 bits of the V on the other side, as I showed you just a bit earlier, doing the 3 rows, and then the storm blue row. I didn't think that was wide enough as a border, but it was good to just stop there and have a look I then sort of held my ends in, but it didn't sort of go round it properly. No, I wanted it wider, so I did another 3 rows on each side. And for the corners, yes, I kept doing the 2 1 2, but you have to make sure that it doesn't go crinkly or that it doesn't start coming out. So again, less is more, okay? But yeah, look at just how lovely this is. So I've just finished doing my last few stitches here. I've just done the slip stitch and I'm now ready to pull that through and start crocheting them together. So yeah, I'm really pleased. It has, I have to be honest with you, okay, this has taken longer than it would have taken me if I had sewn in these ends and done one border, but I think the result will be worth it. I'll see you in a moment. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look how pretty it is. Yeah, so I started crocheting it together. I'll show you in a moment what to do, okay? But I just wanted to try it out first, obviously, before I filmed it, because you know there's always hints and tips that I can come up with while I'm doing my little bit before I actually film it. But look at how lovely this is. And oh my goodness, is it satisfying to be crocheting these and then all of a sudden all your ends are just gone and they are in there and the border feels really squishy and soft almost, but also thick and luxurious. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. And look how lovely it looks. I mean, I am so pleased with this look. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. It was worth every minute I spent doing this. Look at the corner. Yeah, and once again I did 2 single crochets, 1 chain and 2 single crochets, not too many, but just to make a really nice corner here. Look at that. Yeah, I think it's worth doing this. I have to say it did take quite a lot of wool again, so quite a lot of yarn, so you have to be prepared for that, because yes, doing 6 rows of parchment and 6 rows of duck egg here did take quite a bit of wool, of yarn. But to be honest, I mean, I don't mind. It was an experiment, but I love the effect, and I will be doing this again, I think, on a border soon, because I think it's lovely the way it's attached to the blanket. Yes, it incorporates all your ends. Not only that, it also incorporates all the ends that you've created by doing this border. So in the end, I've only sewn in 2 ends for this border, for this blanket. Actually, for this blanket, I've not sewn in any ends for this. I've not sewn in any ends for the borders, apart from the beginning one and the end one. Is that right? Can that be right? Okay, so let me sit down and show you how to start on your single crochet round for attaching your borders together. Okay, so this is where you are at, or where I left you last. So you've got your 2 borders finished up to where you want them, however many rows you want to do, and now we are going to start crocheting them together. So I will see you in a moment. Okay, so when you have completed both your borders, you are going to get started in a corner, because that's the only place where you know it's going to correspond. Okay, you can't just start here because you don't know which stitch is going to be the right one. So you have your chain space here and your chain space here for you to get started in, and that's where we are going to get started. So I start with a slip knot around my hook, and I insert it, like I showed you just now, into that chain space. This is where we're going to make a corner. I'm going to use single crochets to crochet this together. So I'm doing a single crochet. I'm doing another single crochet, then one chain and another 2 single crochets. And that is my first corner done. So each time you meet a corner, that's the corner that you are going to do. 2 single crochets, 1 chain and 2 single crochets. Then we are going to look at the tops of the both borders, and we are going to be picking up the V nearest to us and the V furthest away. And we are going to do a single crochet. Each time we pick up both the loops of the V. So we are picking up 4 loops, really. 4 legs or whatever they call them. The 4 strands of the V. And making sure you don't split any yarn. We are going to just continue with crocheting your border together. All your ends that are here will start just disappearing basically. Now when you come to the end of your side, for each side, that's when it gets a little bit okay, that's when the suspense comes in, because you're going to have to meet up every stitch, and you're gonna have to make sure that you haven't got too many stitches on one or the other side. Now there shouldn't be too many stitches because you've used the slip stitch on the front and the back, so you have the same amount of stitches. You've done your corners the same way, so there shouldn't be any problem. Should there be more stitches on one side or the other, then I am planning on just fudging them. Okay, I'll be using 1 stitch twice, or I'll be skipping one by doing a single crochet together or something like that. Okay, so what I do is I do the whole line, then about sort of 20 stitches here I will start counting them, so that I know what to do, so that when you get to the end you don't have like 5 stitches left here, which it shouldn't, but if it does happen, so my plan is to just count them from when you're about 10 centimeters before your end, then do maybe have to fudge one here if I have to, and then move on. Okay, to fudge 1 stitch, you know, it's not going to, you know, make it really clear that you've done that, so it should be fine. But like I said, if you've done your corners the same way each time, you've picked up the same stitches, because you've used the same row of slip stitches here, you should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to continue with putting my border together, which I started on the other side already, so I am going to continue here and move on, and I will be showing you the results in the park very soon. But like I said, I am really loving the look of this blanket border.